The wilderness begins when bondage is broken, but the longing has not yet been restored. You see, you are no longer where you were, but you have not arrived yet either to where you are going. You are in between the two. And between those two localities is the wasteland, the desert. No home, no visible provision, nothing on the horizon that tells you what comes next. You see, this is where hunger becomes real pressure and where thirst becomes urgency, where uncertainty makes grasping feel like a reasonable option. Because when certainty disappears, the temptation will always be to create it for yourself, to manufacture certainty. And Moses is moving through exactly this kind of ground, driving sheep, carrying a very humble responsibility through a barren ground, until the movement is given a direction. Ahar Hadmidbar. This means in Hebrew, the far side of the wilderness. And on the other side is Horeb. Now, the mountain introduces another movement at this point. This one is upward. Because, as you know, ascension means proximity to the divine. Moses has crossed the wasteland and he encounters the mountain. And there, at the base of the mountain, a sight catches his eye. And he turns aside. You see, Moses turns aside because at the base of the mountain, something impossible is occurring. Fire is present. But what is holding the fire? It is not being consumed. So Moses moves toward the sight. And when God sees that he has turned aside to look, the voice comes from its center. It's the call. Mitoch hasne. From the very midst of the bush, from the center, Moses, Moses, it calls. And Moses answers with this phrase, Hineni, here I am. This word does not simply mean I'm here in location. It means I'm oriented toward the voice. I'm fully present in this moment. My presence is yours. At the base of the mountain, Moses is sent to a people. God has witnessed the affliction in Egypt, and he has heard the cry. He is aware of the suffering. Ve'ata lacha. This means now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to carry Israel out of Egypt. This is what awaits at the base of the mountain before ascension occurs. It's duty. The shepherd who drove a flock of sheep through the desert wasteland is now commissioned to drive a people through that same barren wilderness. The geography has not changed, but the weight certainly has. The wilderness is the test. It is where hunger exposes desire, where uncertainty exposes trust, where the absence of visible provision creates the temptation to grasp. But the journey has always been toward the holy mountain. Israel leaves Egypt, crosses the wasteland, and arrives at Sinai. Elijah, he enters the wilderness 40 days and 40 nights until he reaches Horeb. And Yeshua himself is driven into the wilderness, again, 40 days. Hunger. Every temptation asks the same question. Will you grasp? Bread from stone, reassurance forced from God, rule seized without obedience. He refuses. He comes through the wasteland without grasping, without taking hold of what has not been given. And then he ascends the mountain, and from that mountain he delivers the sermon. Different journeys, the same road. It's through the wilderness, back toward the holy mountain. The holy mountain is not where the journey ends. It is where something is given that must be carried back down. Moses will ascend. And what eventually emerges from that mountain is not merely instruction. It is a dwelling. It's the tabernacle, the sacred space made mobile. Divine presence moving in the midst of a people. Eden, no longer imagined only as a garden left behind, but as a sacred space being generated again in the middle of the desert. And this is where the pattern finally resolves. The wilderness tests whether the human will grasp. Ascending the mountain is drawing near to the divine. And the call sends that human back into the world under the divine name, carrying divinity with him. Yeshua comes through the wilderness without grasping. Made perfect, he passes the test and he ascends the mountain. And there he gives form to a kingdom, a way of being human in which heaven and earth intersect. So the vocation revealed on the other side of the wasteland, it is not escape. It is not permanent retreat into the sacred mountain. It is the responsibility to carry divine order back into the chaos of the wilds, to become the point of intersection where heaven and earth meet and others may experience the divine, to generate Eden, become the place where heaven and earth meet.